I'm Derek Williams, and I really wanted to talk a little bit about the things that you're not really going to hear about, or that it's going to take you a long time to find out about the S4. I ended up picking up the S4, and it's actually the phone I'm using to record this. I've mentioned it in a couple of my other recordings that I uploaded tonight, so I figured maybe I just want to talk about it. So, anyway, here's a couple things that you're not going to. It's going to take you a while to find out about the S4. Sorry. Before we continue, what I'm talking about in finding out about the S4 is if you're comparing two phones like the HTC One and the Samsung S4, you're going to find a lot of things that don't make sense, especially the people. Here's something for you. Especially the people who always bring the iPhone into the conversation when the iPhone is like years behind in everything about these devices, and constantly stealing ideas from these devices. I'm not a big iPhone fan. If you are, that's cool. A lot of people up at work have them. You know, it's a lot of people have them. A lot of people like them. It's whatever. You know, a lot of people have flip phones. That's cool. You know, I just like my phone. Anyway, number one is that the speaker on the Samsung Galaxy S4 is louder than the two speakers on the HTC One. That doesn't necessarily mean quality's better than the HTC One. It's not. It's still really good, but it's not better. But it is louder than the HTC One is. Number two, I want to say the screen. I checked out the screen on the HTC One. Maybe this is my fault because I've up until recently been using a dead HTC Evo 4G LTE from Sprint. I hate that. I hate them. But, yeah. And it has Sense 5 on it. And there's nothing different between the Sense 5 on that and the Sense 5 on the HTC One. So maybe it's that. But I think the colors pop out a lot more because of the increased saturation. I know they're not realistic. That's one of the main complaints. But I know they're not realistic. It's a screen, so I kind of thought as much. And by that I mean that I wanted the screen to... I don't really mind too much if the screen doesn't look realistic. As long as the screen looks really nice to me, then that's fine. And by the way, I just noticed that I brought that up, and you can find that information out pretty much anywhere. So, yeah, sorry for putting that in the video, but ROMs for your device. There are actually like 15 different versions of this phone. That's an over-exaggeration, of course. So you're going to want to find the ROMs for your specific carrier's version. You can use any of them, just for instance, I have T-Mobile, so if I use any other ROM that's not T-Mobile, then I'll lose Wi-Fi calling and Wi-Fi MMS. Wi-Fi MMS not technically being a feature, but being added in through ROMs. So yeah, there's that. Also, the international versions of the ROMs, generally, they feel a little bit less developed than the ones made specifically for phones on your carrier. Another thing to mention about ROMs is that most of the ROMs for the Samsung Galaxy S4, it's going to blow the mind of a lot of people with other phones, because a lot of people with other phones really want these features. A lot of the ROMs for this device are AOSP, or based around AOSP, or they look like AOSP, and all the features from Samsung have been removed, so it is AOSP. Yeah, that's pretty much all the ROMs. There are a couple ROMs that they take TouchWiz and make it really dark, so that way if you have a white phone, then it looks terrible on your device. But yeah, and then there's that one ROM, the GoldenEye ROM, which looks really cool, you know, because it keeps the original feel of the ROM, but they add all this new stuff, and they use the newest firmware that takes away features and makes things start to break. Yeah. Another thing is that I'm actually pausing the video here. I couldn't do this on my Evo, so I figured I'd mention it. I'm actually pausing the video and then continuing recording the video while I'm doing this. I couldn't do that on my Evo. I haven't been able to do that on a lot of phones. So I think that's a really cool feature, and they don't talk about it much. Oh, they do actually talk about the camera a lot. They just don't talk about you can pause it. I'm sure you can do that on the One as well, but yeah, you can pause it like that. A lot of people say that the motion controls, the idea of them is they're just a gimmick, you know, nobody ever uses them. I use them a lot. And on the forums on XDA, I actually asked the question, hey guys, Do you use the motion controls and all those things? I mean, it's kind of what we're paying for the phone for, considering the rest of the phone is spec related, and which is a good thing to all you people. I'm not even going in there. I'm not even going there and make the video way too long. I'd talk about it for like 30 minutes. Specs do matter. They do. I mean, this phone has really nice specs. And you can there's actually a Sense 5 ROM for this device now. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, specs matter, at least to me. Now that I'm done ranting about that, I think I'm going to make this video a little bit short and post up a part 2 at some point, just because we're already at 6 minutes, so that's longer than I wanted these videos to be. So yeah, I'll talk a little bit more about it later. Those are a couple things you may or may not have known, or may have spent a lot of time trying to figure out, and I'm trying just to consolidate that all into one thing. So yeah, cool. It's a really cool phone. I really like it.